There are moments in life when you step into a place and instantly realize that you are surrounded by something truly special, something rare that most people will never get to see with their own eyes. That is exactly what it feels like when entering a garage filled with some of the most insane car projects in the world. At first, everything seems a little chaotic. There are parts everywhere, tools scattered around, and unfinished builds sitting quietly, waiting for their turn to be brought back to life. But as you look closer, you begin to understand that this is not chaos at all. This is creativity in its rawest form. Every single part, every broken panel, and every damaged car tells a story. One of the first things that stands out is how normal everything feels despite the fact that you are looking at machines worth hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars. There is no museum-like silence here. Instead, there is laughter, jokes, and real conversations happening between people who genuinely love what they do. It starts with something simple, like a tire getting damaged by a sharp rock. But even that small moment shows how extreme these cars and environments can be. These are not regular vehicles driving on smooth roads. These are powerful machines with aggressive tires that can literally pull rocks out of the ground. And when something breaks, it is not a disaster. It is just part of the journey. The attitude here is different. Problems are not something to fear. They are something to solve. As the conversation continues, you begin to notice the wide range of car parts lying around. There are high-end carbon ceramic brakes, rare components from hypercars, and pieces that most people would only ever see in pictures online. These are not just spare parts. They are opportunities waiting to be used in future builds. What makes it even more interesting is that many of these parts are not even tied to a specific project yet. They are collected simply because they might be useful someday. This shows a level of passion that goes beyond normal car ownership. It is not about buying a finished car and enjoying it. It is about building, modifying, and sometimes completely reinventing a car from scratch. And then, slowly, the real stars of the show begin to appear. Cars that have been damaged, abandoned, or forgotten are brought back into the spotlight. Each one has a past, often a rough one. But that is exactly what makes them so exciting. Instead of seeing a destroyed car as the end of its story, it is seen as the beginning of something new. This mindset is what separates ordinary car enthusiasts from people like Tavarish, who are willing to take on challenges that most would never even consider. The deeper you go into this world, the more you realize that this is not just about cars. It is about passion, risk, creativity, and the willingness to do things that others think are impossible. And at the center of it all lies one of the most ambitious projects ever attempted on YouTube, a car that is not just being repaired, but completely transformed into something the world has never seen before. As you spend more time inside this incredible workspace, you start to notice that every corner of the garage has its own story to tell, and every project, no matter how big or small, represents a different kind of challenge. It is not just about fixing cars. It is about understanding them, pushing their limits, and sometimes completely changing what they were originally designed to be. One moment you are looking at a simple car part sitting on a shelf, and the next moment you realize that it belongs to one of the most advanced hypercars ever made. This mix of ordinary and extraordinary creates a unique atmosphere where anything feels possible. There are conversations about different builds happening all around, from upgraded engines to custom interiors, and even full transformations of cars into newer models. For example, one car that stands out is a Mercedes that has been modified to look like a much newer version. Instead of spending a huge amount of money buying a brand new car, the owner chose to upgrade an older model with newer lights, panels, and features. It may sound simple, but it actually requires a lot of work, including fitting parts perfectly and making sure everything functions correctly. Surprisingly, many of these parts come from unexpected places, and sometimes they fit so well that it becomes hard to tell the difference between original and modified components. This shows how far the car modification world has come, where creativity and smart decisions can sometimes replace expensive factory upgrades. At the same time, there are deeper discussions about performance and practicality. Some cars are built purely for speed, with powerful engines that deliver incredible horsepower but come with poor fuel efficiency. Others are more balanced, offering a mix of performance and everyday usability. This contrast highlights the different goals that builders have when working on their projects. Not every car needs to be the fastest or the most expensive. Sometimes the goal is simply to create something fun, unique, or meaningful. Then there are projects like the BMW E46 M3, which may not seem as extreme as a hypercar, but still requires a lot of attention and care. Even though it is an older car, it has its own set of problems and upgrades that need to be addressed. Issues like engine wear, structural weaknesses, and outdated components make it a complex project in its own way. But what makes it interesting is the decision to go beyond basic repairs and turn it into something special, even if it means spending more money than the car is worth. This idea of going over budget is common in this world, because passion often matters more than financial logic. As the tour continues, it becomes clear that this garage is not just a place to store cars. It is a place where ideas come to life. Builders are constantly learning, experimenting, and improving their skills. They are not afraid to make mistakes because every mistake is a lesson that helps them get better. And most importantly, they are not limited by what others think is possible. Whether it is upgrading a car with aftermarket parts, rebuilding an engine from scratch, or completely transforming a vehicle into something new, the mindset remains the same. Take risks, stay creative, and never stop building. This is what makes this environment so inspiring, because it shows that with enough dedication and effort, even the most impossible projects can become reality. Walking further into the garage, it becomes impossible not to notice the rare hypercars that sit in various stages of restoration. These are not just ordinary vehicles. They are masterpieces of engineering that carry both historical significance and extreme monetary value. One car in particular, the McLaren P1, stands out because it is more than just a hypercar. It represents a challenge unlike any other. The P1 that sits in this garage is not in its original condition. It has suffered extensive damage from flooding, making the rebuild exceptionally complicated. Reconstructing a car like this is not simply about replacing broken parts. It is about understanding every system, every connection, and every material that goes into it. From the hybrid battery packs to the suspension geometry, each component requires precise attention, and often, some parts are no longer manufactured, making the sourcing process a monumental task. The goal here is not just to make it run again, but to elevate it to the status of the fastest McLaren in the world, which involves stripping out the hybrid system and focusing entirely on optimizing the internal combustion engine. In addition to technical challenges, there is an aesthetic aspect to consider. Hypercars like the P1 are celebrated not only for their performance, but for their flawless design. This means that every panel, every interior piece, and even every bolt has to match the original standards or improve upon them without compromising authenticity. Collaborating with designers who worked on the original vehicle, such as Frank Stevenson, adds credibility and ensures that even the smallest details are meticulously considered. This blend of art and engineering is what makes such projects so captivating. Another car that draws attention in the garage is the Lamborghini Murcielago stunt car from the Fate of the Furious. Unlike the P1, this car has a movie legacy, which adds a layer of storytelling to the restoration. It was a stunt vehicle, which means that it endured extreme abuse on set, from tire burns to engine stress. Rebuilding it is a different kind of challenge because it involves restoring functionality while respecting its cinematic history. Parts have to be sourced or fabricated to match the stunt car specifications, and this includes drivetrain components, body panels, and even unique modifications like widened tires for action sequences. What stands out in these restorations is the mindset of the builder. Each decision is a balance between performance, authenticity, and feasibility. Every project is a puzzle that combines technical skill with creative problem solving. The garage itself becomes a laboratory of innovation, where conventional rules are pushed and new methods are tested. It is also a space that demonstrates extreme patience. Restoring or modifying cars of this caliber is not a quick endeavor. It requires months and sometimes years of consistent effort, with meticulous attention to detail at every stage. Mistakes are costly, both in time and resources, and the team has to continuously adapt to overcome unforeseen challenges. The result, however, is a body of work that is both inspiring and educational. Observing this garage and the vehicles within it teaches a lesson that goes beyond cars. It is about dedication, vision, and the pursuit of excellence. It proves that with enough passion, expertise, and creativity, even the most difficult challenges can be transformed into achievements that are remarkable both in technical skill and in emotional impact. These cars are not just machines. They are symbols of ambition, craftsmanship, and a relentless drive to push the limits of what is possible in automotive engineering. Restoring hypercars like the McLaren P1 or Lamborghini Murcielago is not a matter of simply replacing worn-out parts or polishing the exterior. It requires a deep understanding of automotive engineering and the subtle interplay between various systems. For example, the McLaren P1 that experienced flood damage poses extraordinary challenges because every system, from high-voltage battery packs to the advanced aerodynamics, needs careful inspection and restoration. One of the first major considerations is the hybrid system, which is highly sophisticated and integrates both electric motors and a gasoline engine. The team decided to remove the hybrid components entirely to maximize the car's top speed performance. This decision introduces a cascade of technical complexities because the car was originally designed with hybrid power distribution, regenerative braking, and advanced electronics. Removing the hybrid system means recalibrating the car's electronics, reconfiguring the transmission and driveline, and even adjusting weight distribution to maintain stability at extreme speeds. This is where the collaboration with original designers, engineers, and specialists becomes invaluable. For instance, working with Frank Stevenson, the original designer of the P1, allows the restoration team to maintain the aesthetic integrity of the car while ensuring that any performance modifications integrate seamlessly. Beyond the engine and drivetrain, every other system must be scrutinized. Cooling is a critical concern, particularly in Florida's humid and hot environment. The team has reimagined the cooling system, eliminating unnecessary coolers while adding efficient water tanks and air conditioning solutions that do not compromise performance. Every hose, radiator, and duct is meticulously planned to balance airflow and prevent overheating at speeds exceeding 250 miles per hour. Suspension, brakes, and tires are also heavily scrutinized. Hypercars like the P1 rely on precision suspension tuning to achieve both comfort and performance at the same time. Upgrading brakes with carbon ceramic rotors, for instance, requires precise calibration with hydraulic lines, anti-lock systems, and tire grip characteristics. In some cases, parts need to be custom fabricated because they're no longer available or to achieve specific performance goals. Attention to detail extends to the subtlest aspects, such as ensuring that electrical wire and harnesses are correctly routed and labeled. This makes maintenance easier in the future and prevents costly mistakes when integrating aftermarket components. Even interior elements like seats, infotainment modules, and dashboards are not overlooked. Reupholstery and restoration of interior components are critical because hypercar enthusiasts demand perfection not only under the hood, but also in the cabin. Authenticity is a priority, and every panel, button, and switch must align with McLaren's original standards. These restoration projects illustrate the intersection of high-level engineering, craftsmanship, and creative problem-solving. Unlike conventional car repairs, where a mechanic follows a standard procedure, restoring hypercars requires designing solutions that may have never been attempted before. For instance, reconfiguring the P1 without its hybrid system while aiming for record-breaking speed has never been done and requires both imagination and technical mastery. The process is iterative and highly meticulous. Small errors can have exponential consequences on performance, reliability, and safety. Yet, despite the challenges, the results are astonishing. When completed, these hypercars not only return to life, but often surpass their original specifications. They stand as testaments to human ingenuity, perseverance, and the unyielding pursuit of excellence. Beyond technical mastery, there is also a narrative aspect. Cars like the Murcielago stunt vehicle from the Fate of the Furious carry stories of cinema and performance stunts, making their restoration not just a technical challenge, but a historical and cultural preservation effort. Each bolt and panel contributes to a story that enthusiasts and audiences will appreciate. Observing these projects highlights a critical lesson. High-level automotive restoration is an art as much as it is a science. It requires vision, precision, and relentless dedication, and it transforms mechanical objects into symbols of passion, innovation, and excellence. This meticulous approach ensures that the final product is not only functional but breathtaking in every sense, from the engine's roar to the glint of its carbon fiber panels. When hypercar enthusiasts embark on creating or restoring a unique vehicle, the project often goes far beyond conventional mechanics and into the realm of custom fabrication. Unlike ordinary cars, hypercars such as the Bugatti Chiron, Ferrari 296, or Lamborghini Centenario are built with extremely specialized components, often requiring hand-built parts, custom machining, and advanced materials. For example, a hypercar's chassis is usually made from carbon fiber composites, which are lightweight yet incredibly strong. Repairing or modifying such a chassis is not as simple as welding steel. It requires specialized knowledge of carbon fiber layup techniques, precise curing processes, and structural analysis to maintain the vehicle's safety and performance integrity. Any misalignment or improper curing can compromise rigidity, aerodynamics, and crash safety, which could lead to catastrophic failure at high speeds. Beyond the chassis, the body panels themselves are typically unique molds, often handcrafted to precise aerodynamic specifications. Even a small dent or misalignment in a single panel can affect airflow, cooling efficiency, and handling. This means that each panel often needs to be custom fabricated, hand-sanded, and painted with high-precision techniques to achieve a factory-level finish. Advanced tools like laser scanners, 3D modeling software, and CNC machining become indispensable. Another layer of complexity comes from the engine and drivetrain. Hypercar engines are often limited-run, high-performance units with precise tolerances that cannot be substituted with aftermarket parts. For example, rebuilding a Ferrari 296 engine requires sourcing rare components, rebalancing rotating assemblies, and recalibrating fuel and ignition systems for optimal performance. Even minor errors in torque application, component alignment, or timing can cause engine failure. And because of the cost and scarcity of these engines, mistakes are extremely expensive. Suspension and braking systems are also highly specialized. Hypercars employ adaptive suspension, active aerodynamics, and carbon ceramic brakes. Upgrading or restoring these systems requires understanding the software algorithms that control adaptive dampers, ride height adjustments, and braking torque distribution. This is particularly challenging when the goal is not simply to restore the car, but to improve or modify performance, such as increasing top speed, optimizing cornering, or adjusting weight balance. Electrical systems add yet another layer of difficulty. Modern hypercars are essentially computers on wheels, with thousands of sensors monitoring every aspect of performance, from tire pressure to turbo boost levels. Integrating new components, bypassing damaged systems, or reprogramming control units requires deep knowledge of automotive electronics and coding. Even a small wiring error can disable key safety systems or prevent the car from starting. One of the most fascinating aspects of hypercar fabrication is the level of collaboration required. Specialists in engineering, design, material science, and mechanics often work together in tight coordination. For example, if a modification is made to improve cooling, it may also affect aerodynamics, weight distribution, and structural stress. Teams must simulate these changes using software and physical testing to ensure that all systems function harmoniously. Time management is another challenge. Hypercar restoration and fabrication projects are often painstakingly slow. Each decision, from custom part fabrication to paint finishing, may take days or weeks. Unlike assembly line production, there is no room for shortcuts. Precision is the ultimate priority, and every step must be meticulously documented to prevent errors. Cost is another critical factor. Restoring or modifying a hypercar can easily reach hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, particularly if rare parts or custom engineering solutions are required. This high cost often restricts such projects to private collectors, professional restorers, or cinematic productions where the vehicle is a centerpiece of storytelling. The outcome, however, is nothing short of extraordinary. When executed correctly, these projects yield hypercars that not only return a perfect working condition, but often exceed their original specifications. They showcase a combination of cutting-edge engineering, artistry, and technical mastery that elevates them from mere vehicles to collectible works of art. Hypercar fabrication and restoration, therefore, represent one of the highest forms of automotive skill. Every component, every adjustment, and every custom solution contributes to a performance machine that is both technically flawless and visually stunning, symbolizing human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of automotive perfection. The process is grueling and challenging, but the end result is a hypercar that is unparalleled, a testament to precision, dedication, and the sheer thrill of engineering excellence. Behind every hypercar rebuild or custom fabrication lies not just machines and parts, but an intense human effort that often goes unseen. The people involved, engineers, mechanics, fabricators, designers, and even software specialists, must combine extreme technical knowledge with creativity and patience. Unlike working on regular vehicles, a hypercar project leaves almost no room for mistakes, and the margin for error is incredibly small. One tiny miscalculation can result in a component that doesn't fit, a system that fails, or even catastrophic mechanical failure at high speeds. For example, a mechanic adjusting the suspension geometry must understand not only the physical movement of the components, but also how it affects aerodynamics, weight distribution, and tire behavior. This requires years of experience, a deep understanding of physics, and often trial and error testing under strict safety conditions. Equally important is the mental endurance required. Hypercar projects can take months or even years to complete. Long hours are the norm, and the stress of working with extremely expensive parts adds pressure. A mistake with a single carbon fiber body panel or a rare engine component can cost tens of thousands of dollars, or even more if parts are irreplaceable. The people working on these projects often describe it as a mix of obsession and passion. They must stay focused on details that most people would overlook. Creativity also plays a major role. While many hypercars are built to factory specifications, customization often requires innovative solutions. For instance, fabricating a new exhaust system or custom aerodynamic part may involve designing a component from scratch, testing different materials, and adjusting the design multiple times to achieve the desired performance and aesthetic results. This is where engineers and designers collaborate closely. The design is not only about looks. Every curve, vent, and scoop affects airflow, engine cooling, and vehicle stability. Skilled fabricators then translate those designs into reality, using advanced tools like CNC machines, laser cutters, and 3D printers. The human factor extends to problem solving under unexpected circumstances. During any project, unforeseen challenges frequently arise. Parts may be damaged during transport, suppliers may delay rare components, or design might not perform as predicted. Teams must constantly adapt, using creativity, knowledge, and sometimes improvisation to keep the project moving forward. Communication is essential. A miscommunication between an engineer and a mechanic, or between the design team and the fabrication team, can cause costly delays. Projects often require precise coordination, where everyone needs to understand the impact of each decision on other systems. Beyond technical skill, passion is what drives these projects. Many individuals working on hypercars describe it as more than a job. It's a lifestyle. The satisfaction of seeing a completed project, a vehicle that functions flawlessly and looks spectacular, is unmatched. Every bolt tightened, every panel adjusted, and every software calibration becomes part of a larger masterpiece. Hypercar projects